Logan crouched behind a pile of twisted metal, his rifle resting on his shoulder. The air was thick with smoke, and the ground trembled from distant explosions. The battle had ended hours ago, but the ruins still hid dangers. Burned-out ships and broken robots lay scattered across the alien world. The sky glowed a dull red, and ash fell like rain. Logan wiped sweat from his forehead and listened carefully. "Keep moving," came the voice of Captain Riley, the human officer in charge. "Check the shelters. Survivors may be hiding." Logan nodded. He had been on many missions, but something about this planet felt different. It was quiet now, but the silence carried weight. The alien empire they had fought was strong and merciless. Rumors said their queen ruled with power and fear, but humans never turned back from a fight. He and his small unit crawled through the wreckage. Smoke made it hard to see, but Logan's instincts guided him. He passed a collapsed shuttle and the shattered remains of a robot guard. Suddenly, he heard a faint sound, a soft whimper coming from under a half-collapsed bunker. He signaled to the others and carefully approached. "I hear something," he whispered. "Could be a survivor." Logan crawled into the bunker. The air was musty and filled with dust. Broken consoles and wires hung from the walls. In the corner, huddled behind a fallen metal cabinet, was a small figure, a child. The girl looked no older than 7. Her skin was pale, almost glowing faintly. Her hair shimmered silver in the dim light, and her eyes were wide and silver like mirrors. She looked frightened and alone. She held a small pendant in her hand, its surface glowing faintly, sending soft pulses of light across her tiny fingers. Logan carefully lowered his rifle and spoke softly. "Hey there. It's okay. I'm not going to hurt you. My name is Logan. What's yours?" The girl flinched, but after a moment, she whispered, "Lyra." "Okay. Lyra. Can you stand?" She nodded slowly. Logan offered his hand, and she hesitated before taking it. She was surprisingly light, almost too small for her age. Logan lifted her gently. She clung to him, and he noticed she trembled. "Where are your parents, Lyra?" he asked. Mother Sky Queen," she said in a shaky voice. They took me away." Logan frowned. "Sky Queen?" he said. It sounded strange. A child talking about a queen in a war zone. But he did not dismiss her words. Sometimes, children said things adults could not understand. The pendant in her hand pulsed again. Logan reached to touch it, and the light expanded. A small holographic image appeared above the pendant. A tall alien woman, with silver hair and glowing eyes, appeared. Her voice was strange, speaking a language Logan could not understand. A translation drone hovering on Logan's shoulder whirred and clicked. Attempting partial translation. It said, "Keywords detected. Lost daughter. Return. Bonded guardian. Human." Logan's heart skipped a beat. Could this child really be the daughter of the alien queen? The idea seemed impossible, but the pendant's reaction was real. It was as if it recognized him somehow. He turned to the rest of his unit. "I found her. A child. She says she's royalty. Maybe. But she's a child. And she needs protection." Nate, one of the soldiers, looked skeptical. "We can't just carry her around. She could be dangerous. What if it's a trap?" Logan shook his head. "Look at her. She's scared. That's all we know. If humans can't protect a scared child, what are we even doing here?" The unit moved carefully out of the bunker, keeping the girl close. Logan glanced at her face. She was silent now, staring at the rubble and fires. He could see fear in her eyes, but also a strange curiosity. She was looking at humans, the machines, and the wreckage, like she was trying to understand it all at once. "Will they hurt me?" Lyra whispered suddenly, clutching Logan's neck. "No one will hurt you, I promise," Logan said. He remembered another mission. Long ago, when he had failed to save a child, he had not forgotten the feeling of helplessness. He would not fail this time. "I will carry you home," he said softly. "To your mother." They reached a clearing where the rest of the soldiers waited. Logan held Lyra close. "A survivor. A child. She says her mother is the Sky Queen. She carries a pendant that projects messages from her. We need to protect her." Riley frowned. "We can't just hand her over to anyone. She could be a key to something dangerous. Command will want to study her. Ride." Logan felt a surge of determination. "She's a child. She's not a weapon. Humans protect children. That's what we do." After a long pause, Riley nodded. "All right. You'll take her personally to Fleet Command. They'll decide what to do. But keep her safe. No experiments. No traps. She's under your care." Chapter. Logan nodded. He lifted Lyra again. She hugged him tightly, hiding her face in his chest. The smell of smoke and ash was strong, but for her, it seemed to be the only thing that felt safe. As their shuttle lifted off, leaving the ruined planet behind, Lyra pressed her small hand against the glass. Stars stretched endlessly ahead. Logan watched her face, illuminated by starlight and soft light from her pendant. "Will we see her soon?" Lyra asked softly. "Yes," Logan said. "We're going to get you home. I promise." For the first time, Lyra smiled a little. It was small, fragile, but genuine. She whispered, "Guardian." Logan chuckled softly. "That's me. Your guardian." The shuttle moved through space, leaving the smoky red world behind. Logan glanced at the stars, feeling both fear and hope. The human fleet awaited. Decisions would be made. But no matter what, he would not let anyone harm this child. In the silence of the shuttle, Lyra's pendant pulsed once more, faint and steady. It cast tiny patterns of light across the walls. Logan watched her, thinking that humans often believed they were small in the universe. But sometimes, a single human could make a difference, even in a galaxy full of war and giants. He settled in his seat, keeping one arm around Lyra. The hum of the engines filled the cabin. He knew the road ahead would be difficult. Alien empires, political games, and dangers beyond imagination awaited. But for now, he had a promise to keep. He had a child to protect. He had a mission beyond orders. Lyra looked at him with wide eyes. "You will not leave me?" she asked. Logan smiled gently. "Never. I will carry you back to your mother." Quote. She leaned against him, trusting him completely, and for the first time in months, she felt safe. Outside the window, stars stretched across the darkness. Logan felt a strange calm, knowing that whatever lay ahead, humans had a way of protecting the helpless, even against impossible odds. And somewhere deep in the galaxy, a queen waited, unaware that her lost daughter was finally being carried home by a human soldier. The shuttle hummed as it moved through space. Logan kept his arm around Lyra, making sure she stayed calm. Outside, stars stretched endlessly, but inside the cabin, the quiet felt heavy. Humans aboard the shuttle were curious. They had never seen a child like Lyra before, and the stories of an alien queen's lost daughter sounded almost unbelievable. When they reached the human flagship, Horizon Dawn, the shuttle docked carefully. Logan carried Lyra into a clean, white room where a human xenobiologist, Olivia, and a diplomat, Daniel, were ready. The two were polite but serious. looking at the small girl as if she were both precious and strange. "Welcome aboard," Olivia said softly. "We're going to make sure you're safe, Lyra." Lyra clutched Logan's hand tightly. "I want Mother," she whispered. Her voice was quiet and trembling. Logan knelt beside her. "We're going to figure that out. First, we need to make sure you're okay. Then, we can talk about your mother." Olivia examined Lyra carefully. She checked her pulse, her breathing, and looked at the pendant she still held in her tiny hand. "This child is not human," Olivia said quietly to Daniel. "And this pendant, it's more advanced than anything humans have ever made." Daniel leaned in, trying to understand. "Do you think it's a weapon?" Olivia shook her head. "No. It looks more like a key. A signal. Maybe a message. It responds to life signs, and I think it is connected to her mother somehow. Unexpected." Logan watched quietly. He did not need science to know the girl was important. He only knew she needed protection. And humans did not leave children alone. "Lyra," Daniel said gently, "can you tell us about your mother?" The girl nodded slowly. "Queen. Celine. My mother is the queen. The Sky Queen." Her small hands trembled as she held the pendant. I was hidden. When bad people, they came. They tried to take her. Me too." Logan squeezed her hand. "It's okay. You're safe now." Olivia turned on a small device and placed it near the pendant. The light flickered, and suddenly a holographic image appeared above it. The queen, tall and regal, spoke in a strange language. The drone tried to translate, but at first, only fragments came through. "Lost, daughter." Daniel frowned. "It's talking about her. You mean she is really the queen's daughter?" Logan nodded. "Maybe. But it does not matter. Right now, she is a child. We need to help her first." Olivia and Daniel worked together to get a clearer translation. After several attempts, more words became understandable. The queen's message was old, recorded years ago. It said that she had sent her daughter away during a coup in her empire. The daughter had been hidden through a secret path, one that could cross human space. The queen had trusted that humans, known for their courage, might one day carry the child back safely. Lyra listened, wide-eyed. Logan smiled softly. "We can be trusted. That's what humans do. We keep promises. We protect children, even if they are not ours." Olivia looked at Logan with respect. "He's right. This child is more than a curiosity. She may be a key to ending this war. But she is also, well, a child. She deserves care and protection first." Daniel frowned. "The military may not see it that way. They could want to use her as leverage, a bargaining chip, or, worse, as a tool to weaken her mother's empire." Logan's jaw tightened. "That will not happen. She is not a tool. She is not a weapon. She is a child. Humans protect children. That is who we are." While they argued, Lyra sat quietly, holding the pendant. She began to remember fragments of her early life. She saw visions in her mind. Tall halls of crystal. Soft music echoing through the palace. A woman with silver eyes singing to her. She also felt fear. The rebels who had overthrown parts of the empire were close. She felt their presence even from the safety of the human flagship. "They want to take me," she whispered to Logan. They want to hurt my mother." Logan put a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We will not let them. You and your mother are safe with us. We will get you there." The human leadership called a council. Admiral Rogers, a stern man with gray hair, looked at Logan and Lyra. "We have a choice," he said. "We can study the child and use her for negotiation, or we can try to return her to her mother. The second option is dangerous. It may require entering enemy territory. Logan's voice was firm. She is not a tool. She is a child. She needs her mother. We go back to her, no matter the danger. Daniel nodded. I agree. Using her as leverage would make us no better than the rebels or the worst parts of her empire. Humans can be better than that. We can do what is right. We, too, we can do. After long debate, the leadership made a risky choice. A small human ship would escort Lyra back to her mother in secret. Logan volunteered to lead the mission. Olivia offered to accompany him as medical officer, and Daniel as a diplomatic envoy. The rest of the crew included Eric, a quiet but skilled pilot, and Chloe, the ship's technician. The decision was not easy. The mission might be a one-way trip, but the humans accepted it because protecting someone in need was more important than their own safety. The Aurora Tide, a small human ship, was prepared. Lyra watched the stars through the small windows as Logan helped her onto the ship. She clutched her pendant tightly. Will it hurt? She asked softly. Logan shook his head. We may face danger, but we will keep you safe. I promise. I will carry you home. Olivia smiled at the girl. And we will make sure you are healthy for the journey. We will watch over you. Daniel added. And if we meet others, I will speak for you. I will make sure no one treats you as a weapon or a tool. As the Aurora Tide left the flagship, Logan glanced at the stars, thinking about the journey ahead. Alien space was full of dangers, rebels, warships, and unknown threats. But humans had a way of protecting what mattered. Sometimes courage was quiet, sometimes it was loud, but it was always real. Lyra sat on Logan's lap, looking out at the endless stars. Guardian, she whispered. Logan smiled softly. Yes, I am your guardian, and I will not leave your side. During the journey, small moments showed the humanity of the crew. Logan taught Lyra simple card games to keep her occupied. Chloe made a tiny toy for her, using the ship's fabricator. Olivia checked her vitals and let Lyra listen to her own heartbeat through a small sensor. Lyra began to see humans differently. They were rough, sometimes loud and strange, but they cared deeply. They argued, they laughed, they worried about each other, and most importantly, they protected her. She started to feel hope, the first in many years. One evening, Lyra held the pendant in her hand and touched Logan's. The pendant reacted, glowing brighter. A holographic image of her mother appeared again, showing a palace under attack, warning of the rebels advancing. The translation drone picked up words like help, daughter, danger, human. Logan held her hand. We see it, Lyra. We understand. We will help her, and we will help you get home. She looked at him, tears in her eyes. Thank you, Guardian. The Aurora Tide moved closer to the border of alien space. The pendant began to react more strongly, almost as if it knew the right path to take. It pulsed with energy, guiding the ship toward the Empire. Logan knew the next part would be harder. Rebel forces could detect them at any moment. The path was narrow, dangerous, and uncertain, but for the child on his lap, he would face any challenge. You will see your mother soon, Logan said. I promise. And no matter what comes, I will keep you safe. Lyra smiled faintly, leaning her head against his chest. She felt warmth and trust. For the first time in years, she believed she might reach home. And somewhere across the stars, the Queen waited, unaware that her lost daughter was finally being carried back by humans willing to risk everything for a promise. The Aurora Tide continued its journey. Quiet but strong, carrying hope, courage, and a child who would one day change the fate of two civilizations. The Aurora Tide moved quietly through space. The small human ship glided past stars and asteroids, following a secret path that led toward the alien empire. Logan sat near Lyra, keeping one arm around her. She stared out the window, mesmerized by the streaks of light from distant stars. She had never seen space like this before, and every moment filled her with wonder and nervousness. "Will it be far, Guardian?" she asked, her small hand holding his tightly. Logan smiled softly. "Yes, a long journey, but we are steady, and the stars will guide us." Olivia checked Lyra's vitals again, making sure the child stayed healthy. She was fascinated by the alien biology, but she also treated Lyra like a real child, not a science experiment. Daniel spent time trying to talk to her gently, explaining human ways and customs so she would feel safe. "We have to keep you calm," Olivia said. "Fear can make the journey harder. Look at the stars. Try to enjoy them." Lyra nodded, but she still clutched the pendant. It pulsed softly in her hand, responding to her heartbeats. Logan noticed that every time she relaxed, the pendant glowed brighter. It was as if it wanted them to succeed. The crew was small, but skilled. Eric, the pilot, guided the ship carefully through asteroid fields and unstable regions of space. Chloe monitored the systems, ready to repair any problem at a moment's notice. Nate, another soldier, kept watch for threats. Logan, as always, focused on keeping Lyra safe. After several days, the Aurora Tide entered neutral space, a region between human and alien territory. It was risky, but necessary, to reach the Queen quickly. Logan felt tension in the air, and the Pokin sighed, and differences 9. Everyone knew that being seen here could lead to conflict. Suddenly, the sensors beeped urgently. "Contact detected," Eric shouted. "Unknown fleet approaching fast." "Prepare for evasive maneuvers," Logan yelled. He helped Lyra into a secure area, while Nate checked the weapons. Chloe rerouted power to the shields. The ship shook as they tried to escape the incoming fleet. The unknown ships belonged to a rebel faction who had learned about the princess. They fired weapons that streaked past the Aurora Tide. Eric piloted through the field of fire, dodging asteroids and blasts. The human crew worked together seamlessly, each trusting the other completely. "They are faster than us," Nate said, gripping his weapon. "We can't outrun them for long." Logan thought quickly. "We can use the asteroids." "Eric, take us through the narrowest path." "Chloe, make sure shields are full." We draw them in close, and then slip out. The ship wove through the rocks, sometimes scraping metal but holding together. Lyra watched from her seat, her eyes wide. She had never imagined danger like this. She squeezed Logan's hand. "It's okay, Lyra," Logan whispered. "We are human. We do not give up. We protect those who cannot protect themselves." Olivia held Lyra's other hand. "See, humans are strange but brave. We will not let you be hurt." After tense minutes, they managed to lose the pursuers. The Aurora Tide floated quietly in space, but the damage was real. The shields were weaker, and life support had minor failures. Chloe worked quickly to repair them. She climbed into the maintenance hatch, wires in hand, and fixed the broken circuits. Nate assisted, holding her tools and watching for sudden attacks. "Almost done," Chloe said, her voice tight. Logan checked on Lyra. "Are you all right?" he asked. She nodded, clinging to him. The child's trust in him was absolute, and he felt the weight of responsibility in every heartbeat. After repairs, the crew had a moment of quiet. The stars stretched endlessly outside, peaceful again. Logan taught Lyra a simple card game to take her mind off the danger. She giggled as he explained the rules, her laughter soft but full of life. "Humans laugh a lot," Lyra said. Do you always fight and laugh at the same time? Logan chuckled. Sometimes. Life is about balance. We fight when we must, and we enjoy life when we can. That is how humans survive. The Aurora tide continued toward the Empire's border. Lyra held the pendant and touched Logan's hand. The pendant pulsed warmly, and a soft light spread across the cabin. Another holographic image appeared. It showed the Queen's palace, the tall towers glowing even as smoke and fire rose from parts of the city. My mother, Lyra whispered. She is in danger. Logan nodded. We see it. We know. We will get you to her. The next day, they reached the outer edges of the alien empire. The air outside the ship, though vacuum, felt heavier in Logan's mind. Sensors showed strong energy fields, a shield surrounding the capital. Only one path could get them through, and it was narrow and dangerous. This is it, Logan said. We go slow and careful. One mistake, and we could be trapped. Eric piloted the Aurora tide with skill, following the path revealed by Lyra's pendant. The glow from the pendant seemed to guide them, as if it knew the safest route. Every movement was tense. Every second mattered. Suddenly, the ship shuddered violently. A rebel patrol had found them. Weapons streaked past, exploding nearby. Nate and Logan manned the defense stations. The small human weapons were no match for the alien ships, but they worked to draw fire away from the Aurora tide itself. We can't fight them all, Nate yelled. Logan's eyes were sharp. We don't need to. We just need to survive until we reach the palace. Keep firing. Keep them busy. Olivia stayed with Lyra, keeping the child calm. The ship dove into a narrow asteroid field, weaving through jagged rocks. Blasts hit rocks nearby, sending debris flying. The crew worked in unison. Class. Chloe repaired damaged systems, while Eric piloted through impossible gaps. Logan and Nate held the weapons steady, aiming at pursuing ships to make them miss. Hours passed like minutes. Finally, the Aurora tide slipped past the last patrol and into a quieter zone near the capital. The ship was damaged, some panels scorched, and life support weak, but they were alive. We made it, Logan said, relief in his voice. He checked on Lyra, who had leaned against him quietly, exhausted but unharmed. Guardian, she whispered. We are close? Logan smiled. Very close. Soon. Eric sighed in relief. Never flying that close to asteroids again, he muttered. Chloe laughed weakly, wiping sweat from her face. Nate nodded, still tense but glad they survived. As night passed, the Aurora tide approached the palace district. The energy shields around the city were strong, but Lyra's pendant glowed brightly, opening a narrow path through. It seemed to respond only to her and Logan's presence. It knows where to go, Logan said softly. We just follow it. Lyra looked at him, eyes wide. Guardian. You kept your promise. Logan nodded. Always. Humans protect those who need it. We keep our promises. That is who we are. The Aurora tide descended toward the planet's surface. The city below was in chaos. Smoke rose from buildings, and flashes of energy lit the night sky. The palace towers stood tall, but fires burned nearby. Loyal soldiers and rebels clashed in the streets. We go on foot from here, Logan said. The ship cannot reach the palace safely. We carry you the rest of the way. 17. Lyra hugged him tightly. I trust you, Guardian. Logan carried her carefully as the crew prepared to leave the ship. Weapons were checked. Supplies packed. Olivia and Daniel flanked Lyra, ready to protect her. Nate and Chloe stayed close, watching for danger. Outside, the city was a war zone. Fire, smoke, and chaos surrounded them. Yet, human determination burned brighter than any fear. Logan took a deep breath and started moving, weaving through streets, avoiding rebel patrols, and heading toward the palace. Lyra looked around at the burning city. So many. Hurt, she whispered. Tears ran down her cheeks. Logan held her gently. Yes, but we will get through this. We will reach your mother. Humans do not leave children behind. The journey was dangerous, but hope burned stronger. Human courage, loyalty, and care guided them through the chaos. One small ship, one human soldier, and a child carried across a galaxy filled with war and fear. This was more than survival. It was a promise kept. And somewhere in the palace, towers above, Queen Selene waited. Unaware that her daughter was close, carried by a human who would not let anything stop him.